Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about a word that we hear all the time, enlightenment. We hear people say, I'm searching for enlightenment or I'm on the path to enlightenment. But do we really know what enlightenment is? Welcome again to another episode of Living My Greatest Life. And here with us again today is Master Delpe. Thank you, Master. It's always an honor to have you here. And Master, let's go straight to the point.
Yes.
Yes.
Rory is a director, so she knows what she's doing. I'd rather follow her.
Yeah, so Master, it's a very interesting topic. And let's just go straight to the point because there are so many groups that have different meanings of enlightenment.
Yes.
But to you, what exactly is enlightenment?
Enlightenment is a progressive growth towards light. That's where the word light, enlightenment. But the light is not just about the light of the mind, because light is, in Christianity, the part of God which is called the Holy Spirit. You know, there's such thing as the all-knowing part of God, which is the creative aspect, which is the light. There's also the almighty, the omnipotent, which is the power of God. And there's also the all-merciful and the omniprovident of God, loving God. So the light aspect of enlightenment, we usually delve into the mind. So if you have a very intelligent person, you call it, you are so bright, you're so brilliant. So it is more of the mind that I would say denote the aspect of enlightenment. But in real mastery, like if you have self-mastery as a path, you have to improve all the light of the mind, the love of the heart, and the power of the spirit or the soul. So you have to develop all of this to be able to call it enlightenment. And there are many levels. We can say that we have all the degrees of enlightenment. It's not that we are not enlightened or that we are enlightened. There's the degree of light for everyone. Once you incarnate and being born, there's already a degree of light of God or the divine essence that is incarnated in every person, and even animals and plants and minerals. So, but what I want to specify is the curriculum to follow for enlightenment is more strict than if you just want to get educated in a university. There's also light. You know, when you go to school, you get better grades, you are more enlightened than the person who is not able to answer a question. So if you compare people who are very studious, those people who are scholarly, they also have some degree of enlightenment for them because they study and they equip their minds to be more brilliant. You can see that people, when studying, their energy of the mind gets brilliant. That's why you can say that a person who is more brilliant is more enlightened. Okay? More educated people also are more enlightened than those who are not studying, something like that. But there are many levels to it, depending on what category are you asking. Are you asking it from the esoteric or the more metaphysical? Then it has to be more complicated to explain because the soul has to be involved in the enlightenment. The soul light has to come to the mind and emotions and the aura of the person to increase the light of the person's aura. That is more metaphysical. But when it comes to education, education is also a path of enlightenment. So the person who goes to kindergarten, to high school, to college, there is a degree of enlightenment that comes from education. When a person is taught by the parents to be more enlightened in terms of values or character building, the person is also more enlightened. So these are all aspects of enlightenment. But to be frank, we are all enlightened to a certain degree. So that's what I would say, that nobody should be said, oh, I'm not enlightened. No, you are enlightened to a certain degree. So it's about the degree of enlightenment that matters. It's not just about whether we are or we are not.
Wow, that's very interesting, Master. It's the first time I've heard that kind of explanation. You know, I've been reading this book. It's your book. It's the 12 Rules to Achieve Enlightenment. And it's been very interesting, very insightful. And it's making me realize so many things. But there's one, here it has 12 rules, okay? But there's one rule here which I would like to ask you about. It's rule number 5 that says, don't work for enlightenment. Let enlightenment work for you. What exactly do you mean by this?
Well, I have sometimes destroyed some of the myths that you have to so much suffer and you have to work so hard for enlightenment. If we take it more lightly and focus more on the curriculum, for example, one of the curriculum is to serve more. not just to serve your family and yourself and your relative. You have to go out to the social level where you can serve people whom you don't even know, aside from your family. Once you start to serve others, that means to say there's a muscle of development that you have in your heart that already gives and not always asking in return. So that's called benevolence and altruism. So these virtues like benevolence and altruism are more advanced than normal people's generosity and kindness, because it becomes unconditional. So when you start to give and not just receive, you demonstrate the muscle of enlightenment through your heart, because you are wiser to give, because you know that when you give, you shall receive. When you plant, you shall also harvest. So that also means to say that if you are not so desirous and not so much focused on being enlightened, like a lot of people want to meditate because they want to be enlightened. They want to do yoga and all the chanting because they want to be enlightened. I think it's a good premise to say that if I do this focus on meditation, yoga, being a vegan, being nice to people, that I can be enlightened. That is also true. But when you get obsessed with enlightenment, the more you get so desirous about it, the more you do not let go.
Okay.
There are a lot of people who just do their service, they just become giving to others, they have built their character, they refine their attitudes and aptitudes, and without asking for enlightenment, they get enlightened. So I think people should have a curriculum without having to focus on meditation and being a vegetarian, only on being a nice person and pleasing others. I think there are more curriculum than those things. It's more of attitude development and aptitude development. Your skill sets in life should be developed so that you can do more great things. So even the scientists, the entertainers, the lawyers, the doctors, they're also serving without having to meditate. But when they are given meditation plus maybe a technique of breathing plus alignment to the soul and awakening the soul, they have better chances to get enlightened than if they don't have any technique. So I think I would say just know the curriculum by checklists and follow them, and then you can be enlightened without so much desire. So people who are only meditating, chanting, being a vegan and being nice, that's not totally a whole curriculum. That's only a few subjects. You need a curriculum that gives you even service to others, and you have to give, you have to donate, you have to build your character, you have to develop your skill sets so that you can serve in a bigger way. You have even to include more money as part of your mission if you can, because if we have more money as spiritual teachers, I can do more service. I don't have to limit my service just staying in a cave or being in a more ancient masters who are bearded with long hair and be only reclusive. If we have more money, we can go to the city and serve in a bigger capacity. We can fly to other cities, to other countries. We can stay in a hotel to meet people. And there's a lot of things to do, say networking. It means to say there are many things to do rather than being reclusive.
Yeah. So what you're talking, the curriculum, is it the Enlightenment Formula? I didn't even know that there's an Enlightenment Formula until I read this book. So is that the Enlightenment Formula, Master?
Yeah, if you want an achievable enlightenment, achievable means like in this life or before you die, you have to have a strategy to be able to plan ahead, a new identity where you have your new self to have a higher version, a more enlightened version of yourself. That you need to put in your game plan. Your vision, your new mindset has to include that as part of your daily awareness. So your self-awareness should be able to see that I'm working for a higher purpose, which eventually results in enlightenment. And my mission is to do all of these great things, high impact service, so that I will be able to be of a greater contribution and purpose to the world and to humanity, or depending how big you want to be enlightened. So a new mindset, a new formula should be formulated, that you have a new identity to have your, I say, me 2.0 or 3.0, depending on how you define that. And after that, you will subject yourself to a game plan based on that vision and mission of the new version of yourself. You have to create a game plan which makes you behave in a certain way towards that goal of being more enlightened. And being more enlightened will free you more than bind you. And this is the mistakes of people. I don't want to be enlightened because I will be so tight. I will not be able to do many things. I have so much restrictions. In fact, if you're more enlightened, you have less suffering, less diseases, less crisis, less people hitting your head, and you will be more free to do many great things without defending yourself with so many menial and mediocre things. Your freedom from negative karma will allow you not to suffer. So when you're not solving your problems and not having crisis, you have more time to do great things.
So it's a lot of hard work. So I have a question, Master, because I had a conversation like a few weeks ago with someone who told me from the old school, who said that the only way to be enlightened, this was I think the belief before, that the only way to be enlightened is if you suffer throughout your life, because it is in suffering and what you're really deep into the mud that you will be touched, and that is where your soul will awaken and you'll be enlightened. Is it really like that until now? I mean, maybe it was like that 2,000 years ago. There's old beliefs. I remember my grandmother. But now, is there such a thing as, do we have to suffer that way, or is there such a thing as a modern enlightenment in today's
That's
age?
a very good question, Rory. I have not encountered it before, but thank you for enlightening us with that question, because questions are in itself enlightenment. Because with a good question comes good answers, which brings enlightenment to people. I can say that in the old system, you need to suffer a lot because we think we are sinners. When you're a sinner, you have to punish yourself, castigate yourself, and self-sabotage sometimes to feel guilty about your sins. Now, those are the old times where you become reclusive because you want to fast, and like the old avatars, they always fast 40 days, 40 nights to remember their mission in life, like even Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, Lao Tzu. They withdraw from society to be able to fast so that they will have contemplation, meditation, to be able to realize their alignment. But in modern times, as long as you know your purpose in life, you don't have to go and always suffer. Now, it's true that if you have a lot of negative karma, like in mainstream humanity, they have a lot of bad things, bad food, they have bad words, bad thoughts, negative activities and vices. Therefore, in normal state, what you planted to yourself, you need to clean it out. Therefore, a lot of the mainstream humanity, ordinary humanity, will have to clean up all their mess and all their mistakes. And that is where they said that you have first to clean up yourself and suffer through your life before you become wiser. Because wisdom, is the, I would say, the prerequisite of enlightenment. So when you want to be wise, you have to clean up yourself. You have to correct your mistakes. You have to ask for forgiveness. So that is like a kind of a messy activity if you were in a lower state. What if you have already done in your past lives all this cleaning and you were incarnated as a more advanced soul? Since you are cleaner as a soul, as a personality, you're also cleaner. So your ability to clean is faster because you have more power, you have more love, you have more enlightenment to be able to clean faster than normal people who are still doing daily mistakes. So in that level, you have less sufferings because you are working more for your spiritual duty rather than cleaning your karma. So when you move from karma, cleaning your karma, into a spiritual duty or dharma, they call it dharma or duty, you are more preoccupied in helping people who are suffering rather than suffering yourself, because you have cleaned up your life many times before. Now, for saintly people or people who are more initiated to the light, they have less and less sufferings because they already clean up their toxic energy and negative energy. So they're busy cleaning people, healing people, blessing people, and serving humanity in a bigger scale than the normal people who are just busy cleaning themselves. So this level, there's less suffering because they also have wisdom. You have more right thinking, right decision making. So you're not making mistakes anymore. When you do not make mistakes, there's no negative karma, there's no bad luck, as they say, and therefore you don't have to suffer anymore. So the ancient teachings always said that you have to suffer to clean up yourself. True at a certain level. For more advanced people, you don't have to look for sufferings to be enlightened because you already have done it in your past lives or many lives. Or in this life, you have more service to help people who are suffering. So you'd rather dedicate your good service to people who are suffering than you yourself suffering. See, if I were a healer, I would be healing people so that I don't have to be the sick person. See? Okay. So to be more enlightened works for you. Rather than you're working for enlightenment, the enlightenment will free you from a lot of the things that you need to do so that you don't have to suffer anymore.
Wow, that's such great insight and wisdom. Thank you, Master. I'm sure so many people are now relieved to know that. But for the ones out there who are watching us, and they know that they're done with it, but they want to get to enlightenment as fast as possible, what can you advise them?
I think you should be evaluated by a mentor or a spiritual teacher, because they can see your 8 types of human design. There are 8 types of human temperament that you can see. Either the Mother Teresa would have a different curriculum from the Einstein, from the actors and entertainers, from the politicians, from the scientists and so on. So there are different paths by where you get enlightened faster. So the Mother Teresa uses first the heart and emotions, and then they go to more wisdom, intuition, and a lot of service through the heart and through emotions. The Einstein will serve more through the mind. So that's the path of the mind and path of science. And the others are part of power and so on. So once you understand your path, which is natural for you, you would have a good beginning, not from scratch, not from zero, from your talents first. When you use your talents and your strength, your opportunities are greater, which will fulfill your purpose more than if you are focusing on cleaning up your weaknesses. So the problem is, we always want to scrub the dirt instead of doing something bigger so that you will pay somebody to scrub the floor. You don't have always to be the one suffering. If you have more money, you can pay somebody to do the menial jobs while you are busy helping others at the higher level. So your equity of work per hour will be bigger, good karma in your karmic bank account, than if you're doing all the menial jobs, which is so menial that you don't have to do that anymore when you get more enlightened, something like that. Another thing is, they need a curriculum. You know, when you have a curriculum, you go for a medicine, you graduate on time, right? If you want to become an actor, you go for workshops and training to be an actor. In enlightenment, there's also a curriculum that has so many subjects and checklists and charting and scoring and tabulation of all your attitude, aptitudes, your character, your virtues, your sins, your weaknesses, your illusions, all kinds of checklists, so that we will see where are you now, and what are the garbage that we need to collect, what are your illusions that we need to dispel, what are your emotional traumas that you need to heal first. Because if we have so many of this garbage and toxicity, it's hard to be enlightened, because if you invoke the Spirit to come, your spiritual energy is busy cleaning up the mess. And of course you get purged and you suffer. What if we go first to a healing session and we heal all this toxicity and emotional and psychological traumas, and remove that first to not get away, in a way, blocking our enlightenment path. So first is garbage collection, throwing out things that are darker, all your shadows that they call in psychology. Once things are cleaner, your mind is clearer to think, what do you want to do from now? So instead of arguing with yourself and blaming others about your misery, you need to focus on what to do rather than whom to fight. Most people are busy blaming people, blaming life, and complaining all the time. So they are not into the path of enlightenment because they are busy dealing with the mess. If we can remove that mess and the obstacles in life, and then we install now the new purpose where your mind is focusing on contributing values to others, emotions are stable, your energy is more clear so you don't have to get sick all the time, then your malas or your bad luck, as they say it in Filipino, will also be removed. Therefore, your path is clearer and you're faster. And you can use a lot of your energy from your soul, from your spirit, to invest in development and progress and growth rather than in just removing darkness. So this is a curriculum, and people can read my book, The 12 Rules to Achieve Enlightenment. I think is one of the very basic things they can do to even know what are the rules to play your game. See, enlightenment is like playing your game. There are rules, there are lines, there are borders of what to do and not to do. If you know what not to do, then you're already removing your sins and your future sins and mistakes. If you know what to do, then you are playing your game. Like in basketball, you do not step on the line. People are always staying on the line and staying outside the line, and so they are not really playing basketball. Most people are outside the line doing so many vices. They're not really playing enlightenment. If you know what to do inside the game, then you do not get fouled all the time, which is foul brings karma, you know? So that is one. So if you have the book alone, that will reduce 50% of your mistakes because you would know what to do and what not to do, the rules of the game. If you know the rules, you have a tendency to win. Another thing is, if you want an accelerated pace to develop, yourself to grow, and a quantum leap to advance your soul and your mind, your psychic faculty, your third eye, your ability to understand life and to not suffer anymore, how to eliminate suffering, how to eliminate the fear of death, the fear of fear itself, the fear of failure. A lot of these are all blockages of enlightenment. Once you can eradicate that by learning even how to heal yourself and others, you would be flying so fast into the level where you are able to say that, oh my gosh, where I was before, you know, I was so low, now I'm here. So I would invite people to attend the Enlightened Life Retreat that I usually give online for the level 1. Of course, level 2 is more intricate and more rigorous and more intense, so they come to visit me here in the ashram and the MTV village in Cervantes in the Philippines to be monitored day after day, to be healed, to be increasing the willpower, to increase their mindsets and so on. So for level 1, you can take it online. And I have one coming.
Yeah, you were talking about the Enlightened Life Retreat. You know, I just want to say, Master, because I wanted to mention it also. The Enlightened Life Retreat was the first retreat that I ever took here. And it really, really helped me a lot. And what you were saying, all the garbage, all the stuff, and that, it really helped me a lot. It cleaned me a lot, and it brought me to the path. And I haven't left that path ever since.
Yeah, I know. So, Rory has been flying high.
That's a retreat that I will always be grateful for. And I will always remember because it really set me on the path. And I'm very, very grateful for that.
Yeah, because if you're running and you're running towards the wrong direction, you're going to, where am I? So first is, where can you be at this point in time so that you would know where to jump? So if you know where you are and who you are and what you are not and who you are not at this juncture of time, you know exactly where to springboard your enlightenment. So for those who are available November 4 to 10, I have an online Enlightened Life Retreat online retreat where we have facilitation, we have workshops, we have healing, we have all techniques and spiritual psychology to guide your life and the rules, how to look at the rules of enlightenment, and you will understand it's not really, really difficult. If you have a curriculum, you will graduate. If you don't have a curriculum, you can be meditating for 40 years, you can be fasting, you can be like a nice person to everyone. It does not enlighten you all the time because this, it's like going to college. This physics, chemistry, accounting. You need to take all the subjects to graduate in engineering, for example, like me, I'm an engineer. If you only take 3 subjects, a vegan diet, you're a nice person, and you are meditating frequently. Those are only 3 subjects. What if you have 12 subjects to take? Then you have next life to take another 3 in the next life, so on. So when you took those workshops, what was your experience?
Well, number 1, I felt so free after, so much more free, and it answered so many questions that I had. Because I've been a seeker for so long, and I was lost for so long. But after that retreat, I was like, I'm home. And I will always say I'm very grateful for that retreat because it set me to the path. And it helped me bring me, Master, to where I am now. And there's nothing like freedom. There's nothing like freedom.
You will find your soul, and the soul frees you. See, if you're looking for freedom, the soul is the one that sets your freedom. It's not your ego, it's not your mind, it's not your emotions, it's not your love. The soul is the divine essence in you, which is used by God or the divine to bless you, and the soul bless you in. And it suspends its power to your mind, to your heart, emotions, and to your aura, to vitality and stamina, and to your body for physical things. So when you understand all of this, what makes you? What are your constitution? How do you change the vibrations of your mind so that you don't have to get so much PhD in learning and your mind becomes so brilliant because your mind becomes a higher vibration to understand many things. It's like a CT scan or it's like an X-ray. You can X-ray many thoughts, you can X-ray many situations to see deep inside them and so on a bigger scale intuitively as well. So you can learn a lot of these rules. You can learn the 5 levels of intelligence to make a a mental powerhouse in your family or your organization or in society. You can learn also how to use your intuition and instincts together, how to be wiser. You learn how to understand what's going on earth, what is the karma of humanity with the animal kingdom, and there are many things. What is the angelic kingdom? There are many things that you will start to study that are mysterious to most people, but it is a science because it becomes a more enlightened understanding.
Yes, thank you so much, Master. Do you have any last words, or you've said it?
I think enlightenment is really one of the gifts to life. If you're enlightened, you will be more free. And free not only in terms of want to do anything, no. You still follow rules, but it is the right rules. It's not just correct rules, but the right rules. Secondly, you will eliminate much of your sufferings. If there's a lot of fear in humanity, it's not fear of death or fear of losing your loved ones. It's fear of suffering, because suffering can come from many, many kinds. So if you eliminate that one suffering, you escape, there's another kind because of karma. So you'll be able to live without having to always defend from karma. You'll be using the law of karma in your favor because that's one of the rules. Do not be a victim of karma. You should be the one enjoying karma because you know the positive applications of good karma. What you sow is what you harvest. So you know what to sow because you know what to harvest in the future. And you're not just being a nice person. You will be a higher value person that brings a lot of value to others, and they, in return they give it to you reciprocally. There's a reciprocity, and you don't have to ask too much because they will give you because you deserve, because you planted, that's why you harvest. There are many rules that will guide your life to become better in your business, as a parent, as a sibling to your siblings, and also as a better person in society, because you'll be able to contribute. And you will not recognize a lot of your old self once you get enlightened, because you will be focusing on your future, the highest version of yourself.
Thank you very much, Master, for
pleasure.
sharing your wisdom and your insights. And so that's it, everyone. That's our episode for today. So I know that you learned a lot from Master. And, Master has this saying, today, more enlightened than yesterday. And that is the goal which we should really reach for. And that is also my hope for all of you. So thank you very much, and see you next time.